From the farmers and ranchers of Farm Bureau, this is Farm Weekend. The proposed merger between Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern Railroads is causing concern. Chad Smith tells us analysis from the American Farm Bureau Federation shows the merger could mean higher prices and fewer options for America's farmers.
The $85 billion merger between Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern Railroads would create the first coast-to-coast railroad across 43 states. Danny Munch, an economist for the American Farm Bureau Federation, said the big concern is the loss of competitive pressure across the rail system.
Most agricultural shippers, including 95% of grain elevators, are already captive shippers, which mean they have no other shipping alternatives. If transportation prices are increased, a shipper must accept the new price or they're unable to move their product to market. Currently, remaining competition in the industry occurs along interchange gateways. These are locations where grain moving across the country can transfer from one railroad to another. That interchange gives shippers at least some leverage because railroads know a competing carrier could take freight for part of the journey, or they could swap to trucking or waterway.
Rail shippers are incredibly important to agricultural commerce.
In many markets, rail is the only option to get grain and other agricultural goods to market, as well as to get critical inputs to the farm. About 1/5 of all U.S. rail shipments are food or farm products, and in many regions, rail are moving 85 to 95% of grain.
The American Farm Bureau has come out in opposition to the merger. Chad Smith, Washington.
U.S. looks to Venezuela and Morocco for fertilizer amid Iran conflict. More when Farm Weekend returns.
The farmers and ranchers of Kansas Farm Bureau work daily to ensure they are raising the healthiest crops and animals with care to provide a safe and nutritious meal from their family to you and your family. Learn more about these Kansas farmers and ranchers and get great recipes featuring the products they raise by visiting our website, www.kansaslivingmagazine.com.
The United States is working to secure new fertilizer sources as global supplies tighten due to conflict involving Iran. Disruptions to production and shipping routes in key regions have pushed prices significantly higher, raising concerns for farmers heading into the spring planting season. Limited availability of nitrogen fertilizers could impact crop yields and increase input costs across the agricultural sector. To help address the shortage, U.S. officials are turning to countries like Venezuela and Morocco to boost imports and stabilize supply. Recent policy adjustments have made it easier to access these markets, though experts say the efforts may only partially ease the strain. Farmers are encouraged to plan ahead and monitor input costs closely as uncertainty in the global fertilizer market continues. Next, Insight with Greg Deering.
Hey, farmers and ranchers, just as you do ride-alongs to inspect your fields and cattle, make sure you do the same for your mental well-being. Take time to check in with yourself and your neighbors, and if you find yourself in a crisis, remember there's immediate help available at 988. Mental health is just as vital as the health of your farm. Let's prioritize it together. This message brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau and Kansas Farmers Union.
Now, Insight with Greg Deering.
There's nothing more flattering or dangerous for a writer than being quoted approvingly. It means, out of all the possible combinations of words, you've landed on a few that give someone clarity or truth. A good quote is like a spark in dry tinder. It catches, spreads, and fuels curiosity or understanding. Quotes should be collected like pennies, tucked away and rediscovered later, like the small fortunes they are. Some, though, don't need saving. They're just seared into the memory, ready at a moment's notice. Any collection of quotes is a good one, and good collectors are always looking for more. Here are a few I think are worth keeping. The cure to boredom is curiosity. There is no cure for curiosity, as Dorothy Parker wrote. President Eisenhower's estimation that farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from a cornfield is especially apt. Douglas Adams was speaking to me when he wrote, "I love deadlines. I love the whooshing noise they make as they go by." Or maybe the most practical of all as I age, from my father, "Nothing good happens after 10 p.m.
Join us next week for another edition of Farm Weekend from Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture.